Hi, welcome to the Common Sense Stoners channel. On this channel, we're going to give a common sense opinion. I don't have a PhD, I don't have a college degree. This is a common sense opinion from me about the topics we may come across. If you enjoy these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Well, here we go again. This video is me talking about here we go again. There's a couple scenarios happening. So this one here is Vivek on CNN. Again, here we go again, trying to make him look like a conspiracy guy. They're just horrible people. I don't know how they exist, you know what I mean? Well, let's see the video.
In the Atlantic that you gave an interview to, you said, quote, "I think it is legitimate to say how many federal agents were on the planes that hit the Twin Towers. Maybe the answer is zero. It probably is zero for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than zero. But if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, we have a 9/11 commission. Absolutely, there should be an answer the public knows the answer to." Explain to me what you meant there.
This is really, it's funny. I mean, the Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field and we deserve to know who they are. On 9/11, what I've said is that the government lied. And this is incontrovertible evidence, Caitlin. The government lied about Saudi Arabia's involvement. There was a Saudi spy named al-Bayoumi who they lied, and the government lied, and the 9/11 Commission lied. We know that because declassified reports in 2021 revealed that al-Bayoumi was indeed.
Wow.
What's that?
Yeah.
She tries to give props to Biden there real quick.
President Biden declassified.
Yes.
But your quote here, are you telling me that the quote
20
is wrong
years later,
here?
yeah.
But are you telling me that your
telling
quote
you
is
the quote's
wrong here
wrong,
because
actually.
it says how many
I am
federal
actually.
agents were on the planes
I actually
at
asked,
the Twin Towers?
Yeah, when I actually, and this is just lifting the curtain on how media works again, I asked that reporter to send the recording because it was on the record. He refused to do it. But we had a free-flowing conversation. The truth is there are lies the government has told about 9/11, but it's not the ones that somebody put in my mouth. It's the one that I articulated, which is that Saudi Arabia, absolutely, their intelligence was involved in 9/11. And that's a difficult thing you're not supposed to say. The facts back that up. Separately, as it relates to January 6th, same story all over again. There were federal agents in the field. I think they've lied about how many there were. And we, the people, deserve the truth, despite the layers of distortion that exist in the media to prevent us from getting it.
You're saying that you were misquoted here. So we will take you at your word.
Yes.
You're saying that you were misquoted here. But you were asked another time recently about whether or not 9/11 was an inside job. This is what your response was.
9/11 inside job or
Response was.
That's what's his name? Stein. He's a pretty funny guy.
9/11 inside job or exactly how the government tells us?
I don't believe the government has told us the truth. Again, I'm driven by evidence and data.
That's
What
all
I've
he
seen in
says.
the last several years is we have to be skeptical of what the government does tell us. I haven't seen evidence to the contrary, but do I believe everything the government told us about it? Absolutely not.
Last two
I believe
questions.
The 9/11 Commission? Absolutely not.
I mean, Vic, I think people look at those comments. They look at what you said in the Atlantic, which you say you were misquoted. They look at comments that you've made about the Federal Reserve adding zeros to media companies' bank accounts. And I mean,
She goes back to that
it
one.
looks like you're floating conspiracy.
That was that other video I made, remember? The other video about the conspiracy she tries pinning that on him again. You said this about the rotten. CNN is so rotten. And yet people just suck their shit up and spit it back out.
People look at those comments. They look at what you said in the Atlantic, which you say
That's
you were
truth.
misquoted. They look at comments that you've made about the Federal Reserve adding zeros to media companies' bank accounts. And I mean, it looks like you're floating conspiracy theories with this defense of I'm just asking questions.
Well, when you actually quote me, those are my words, and I stand by them. So somebody else quoting me, putting words in my mouth, I have a problem with. But those words I stand by. You want to know why? Because we literally know the FBI, the 9/11 Commission, the U.S. government on down, told us specifically that Saudi Arabia had no involvement. 20-plus years later, quietly declassifying documents showing that not only did Saudi Arabia have involvement, it was a Saudi intelligence agent that received two of those terrorists that crashed planes on 9/11, killing
But the
Americans
question was, is
on American
9/11 an
soil.
inside
And our
job? And you
government
didn't
lied
say
about it.
no.
Caitlin,
That's what
you
I
just
think people are
Caitlin,
looking at.
Caitlin, you know what's really funny You literally just played that, and you could play it for your audience again. He said, or do you believe everything the government has told us? And my answer was, I do not believe everything the government has told us
But you see
because
the
they
point.
lied.
The point is
and
that
I know
it leaves
this game
the door
comes up,
open.
Caitlin,
It's
every
not
time
a
there's
game.
an
It
outsider
leaves
who
the
comes
door
in.
Open,
I like this part
Vivek.
here.
It leaves the door open, and someone who's a
Caitlin,
9/11 truther
we have
looks
a
at that and
government that
says, "That's
systematically
exactly what I
lies."
believe." You
That
think the
was a-
government's
that was
lying
a
about
comedian
9/11?
I think the government has systematically and for a very long
That was a
time lied about
comedian.
9/11.
Yes.
And I think I'm the
What
only
part
presidential
exactly
candidate
are
who's
they
told us
lying
the
about?
truth.
Like I said, Alex Stein, pretty funny guy. And like Vivek just said, he's a comedian guy. Are you what?
9/11. And I think I'm the
What
only
part
presidential
exactly
candidate
are they
who's told us
lying
the
about?
truth. Saudi Arabia's involvement. It is absolutely true.
But you don't
that Saudi
think that
Arabia
9/11 was an inside job,
involved in 9/11.
correct?
Of course not. And I've never said it. But the
But
media
that's a pretty
filters do
simple
create
answer.
a lot of
It's not
falsehoods.
a media filter.
but
You have to
that's the
stop
truth.
blaming the media. I'm asking you about comments that you have made.
You are a rotten
And I'm telling you
person.
that the comments I made, the ones you just played, are indeed what I believe, which was not that 9/11 was an inside job, but that Saudi Arabia absolutely was involved, and our government for 20 years lied to the American people about it.
There was an entire
That is
9/11
hard
commission
fact,
report
actually.
on this.
Listen to her.
Yes, and it will, and
She
it
just
lied,
keeps
and it was
pushing it.
false. And in fact, you know where that's coming out, Caitlin? There's now a case, a federal case in the Southern District of New York, where the government of Saudi Arabia is being sued by victims of families.
the
That's why
families,
this is
yes.
resurfacing itself. It is relevant, and it turns
But
out
there's a difference
in
in
those
asking
declassified
questions
documents
about Saudi
that the
Arabia's
government lied.
involvement and the government's involvement, and then pushing this idea that whenever what your comment about who was on the plane and then was 9/11 an inside job where you did not say no earlier. That's why it's important to clarify those comments, because otherwise it feels like you're towing the line when it comes to conspiracy theories.
Caitlin, I
No.
am guilty as charged that I do not follow the establishment super PAC donor-approved script on these questions, but I am speaking truth, grounded in fact, at every step of the way, and that's what's really elicited something of an anaphylactic reaction of the kind we saw in 2016 against a different candidate. But this time I'm going to be grounded in principles
like,
and conviction, not just
we didn't
vengeance and
attack
grievance,
Trump,
which is
damn
exactly
You're
how we
grounded in
will
evidence.
unite
That's
this
just
Yeah. All right. So what else we got going on? Nope, not that. Look at this. Look at this. Here we go again. Piece of crap. Look at this. He's in the Hawaii, right? With the people's fires and whatnot. He's sleeping. He's so bored, he's falling asleep. Listen to this guy talking about how his house burned down, his sons, his daughters, all their houses burned down. That's when he wakes up. This lady's crying, it's so sad. He don't give a shit. He's he's dreaming about ice cream cones, man. Anyway, where's that other bull we got going on? Go back to the home here. COVID's coming around. Again, go figure, right? Ugh. This douche. But schools, so there's a surge of COVID, a new mutation, another one coming around. You know what I mean? It's flu season, but it's COVID season. So now they're already starting to test. Hospitals are I think, over on the West Coast are starting to already turn people away for not wearing a mask because that all worked out so well before that they're going right back to it. Mask mandates are spreading fast. Everywhere. Here we go again. The memes. You know what I mean? Listen.
Past, but cases are once again. COVID is making a comeback this summer, so many of us would like to leave it in the past, but cases are once again on the rise. So when will new booster shots roll out? Ann Thompson asked the CDC director.
See,
This
boosters.
summer,
That's
most
all they care
Americans
about.
left
Money.
COVID in the past, gathering together
What
once
if the
again.
vaccine, the boosters, none of it stopped COVID. It was all just this is all a huge grift, and that's all it is. And they're just keeping it alive. I remember when COVID first came out, I mean, it was probably a year into the mandates and all that, where they said this is probably going to be a new status quo of living, where whenever you're in public, you always have a mask on from now on. That's disgusting. That is just, it's a screwed up world that people think that, you know what I mean? Not everyone does. Not everyone thinks that. Hopefully a lot of people stand up and resist and fight this time and don't abide by the mandates. So they got to get rid of them because no one's following them, because they're just out of hand. It's going to come down to the point again where you can't go to work unless you got your vaccine papers. Unless you paid Pfizer, you are not going to work. But yeah, it's all over again. This guy loves talking about it. What is this here? Yeah.
Can you get COVID if you have these vaccinations? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Oh, that was a big lie.
But for most Americans, one COVID shot each year will be all they need. And if you get it, you're protected.
No, you're not.
And if you don't, you're putting yourself and other people on unnecessary risk. The shot is free.
Just means that
The shot
they
is
won't
not
get
free.
sick.
The shot is not free, all right? It may not come out of your pocket directly, but it's not free. You think that Pfizer's just giving it away, but yet somehow they're profiting billions of dollars? The most they've ever profited in history was the COVID year. But somehow it's a free shot? No, it's not free. Nothing's free. Nothing is free. There's always a catch to something. Nothing is free. Including America. So as you can see, a bunch of bullshit coming back down the line. Get ready for it. Fight, resist. Hopefully enough people resist and voice up their opinion about how much bullshit this is and pointless this is. All it does is ruin lives. Doesn't save lives, it ruins them. Look at New York State, what they did there, Cuomo did there. Put all the old people back in them homes and just killed them all. But yeah, we're supposed to keep listening to these people. Who knows what Hochul's going to say? She don't know. And another thing with the Hochul thing. New York City, they're overswarmed with migrants. And then some lady is in New York City complaining to Hochul, saying that they should be spread out throughout the state, starting with Erie County, which is like the county that the city of Buffalo resides in. And that's the county I live in. And that's a horrible, I don't want a bunch of more migrants put over here. I guess there's already like around 600 migrants here put at one time, the one point, and there was like 2 sexual assaults happened. So Hochul said, all right, we'll bring them to New York City. And now New York City is saying, who cares? It was just 2 sexual assaults. Take them people back. You should have a lot more people over there. There's a liberal guy who owns 2 hotels in Erie County. He said he'll take a bunch of migrants. Great. They're complaining about how it's overridden with crime and all this people on the streets and everything. Let's start making the rest of the state suffer also. Instead of trying to fix the border problem, no. We'll keep taking them in. Just spread them throughout the state. Everyone will suffer. It's horrible. Close the border. Let Trump build the wall. The wall does not mean you're not allowed here. It just means you got to come through the door. I seen that meme someplace. You got to come through the door the right way. You can't just jump in the freaking river and swim across and then have a kid. Boom, you're set. Have a kid here, you're set. Like they said, that's a dirty ploy. Is if you have a kid here, you eventually get to stay. And in New York City, in that hotel, there's like 3 kids born a week. So, yeah, they know what they're doing. These migrants, these illegal immigrants, they know what they're doing. They're dirty. A lot of them are dirty. Not all of them. I'm sure some of them are good people who really just want a better life. But I'm sure a lot of them are just like, hey, I can just do this because Biden allows it. So I'm going to go and do it. But, yeah, here we go again. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.